If you've been using Python for a while, your installation of Python and various packages are probably stored in a single environment. That's okay as you start your journey with Python, whilst you're still learning the language and exploring its potential, but as you get more experienced, you'll begin to run into any number of frustrating problems. For example, multiple projects installed in the same Python environment may create conflict amongst your packages. Typically, you'll notice this when one project may require a specific version of a package, whilst another project may require a different version. These conflicts can lead to errors and unexpected behaviors when you run your Python code. Another problem you might have encountered is the difficulty of reproducing your development environment when you try to share your code with other developers, or try to deploy your code to production. These are just a couple of examples, but you might also have experienced other problems. You may have started your Python journey with just one development environment, and that is quite typical. Now that you're ready to take the next step, let me show you the quickest and easiest way to create multiple virtual environments. For this demonstration, I'm using a Windows machine, and I'm using Jupyter Labs as my preferred IDE. As we're transitioning from a single environment to multiple environments, I already have Python installed. If you're following along, then you probably also have an installation of Python on your machine. That's fine. Don't uninstall Python. We're just going to create a couple of new environments. The first thing we now need to do is open the command prompt window. This will take you to a window that will look a bit like this. Let's create a new folder that will house our new Python environments. For this demonstration, I'm going to create a new folder in the C drive called Demos. Of course, you don't need to use the command line to create folders, you could just use File Explorer. Now, let's go to the directory we've just created. Let's check we have Python installed. If this returns an error, and you don't have Python installed, then you can simply type Python and you'll be taken to the Microsoft Store to install Python. And once that's done, just check again you have Python installed. For this demonstration, your version should be at least 3.3. Let's now create our first virtual environment. Run the following command: python-mvenv followed by the name of the environment. Let's call the new environment Demo1. And press Enter. This creates a new directory, named Demo1, which contains all of the necessary files for our new Python environment. Also, note that in order to create this virtual environment, we've used a Python module called VENV. If we take a look at the file structure, we'll see a new folder called Demo1 created under the Demos directory. And at any time that we want to create a new virtual environment, we can just return to the Demos folder and create a new environment. Let me show you how. Let's create a new environment called Demo2. We'll use the same command as before, python-mvenv, but this time we'll add Demo2 as the name of the environment. We can see this has now worked. Our folder, Demos, now has two directories, with each directory containing all the necessary files for a Python environment. In order to use any of the environments we've created, we need to activate the environment. So, let's activate Demo1. First, we'll go into the Demo1 folder. Here, we can see there's a directory called scripts. Let's go into that directory. Inside this folder, we'll see a file called activate and another file called deactivate. Let's run the activate file. You'll now notice the command prompt begins with the name of our environment in parentheses. This means we've now activated the Demo1 environment. To deactivate this environment, we can run the deactivate command whilst in the scripts directory, as that's where the deactivate file is located. Deactivating an environment will return your command prompt to its original state. For this demo, let's activate the Demo1 environment again, and let's come out of the scripts directory. If we take a look at what is currently installed using the pip list command, we can see it's very minimal. We can now install more packages if we wish. For example, if we want to install the TensorFlow package, we can just run pip install TensorFlow. Importantly, because we've created multiple Python environments on our machine, this package will only be installed on the Demo1 environment, which is the environment that is currently active. As a second example, let's install Jupyter Labs. This is our preferred IDE for this demonstration. Now it's installed, let's launch it. Here there are two important points you really need to note. First, as we're launching Jupyter from the Demo1 environment, it will only work with the packages installed in this environment. Second, we've launched Jupyter in the foreground, rather than the background, which makes our terminal window unusable whilst Jupyter is active. To solve this problem, we can launch a terminal window from within Jupyter. This will allow us to install additional packages if we need to. For example, let's install the scikit-learn package. Again, to stress, the installation will only be part of the Demo 1 environment as that's the currently active environment. Once we've finished using Jupyter, we can shut it down and close the browser. The command prompt window can now be used again. I've shown you how you can very easily transition from a single development environment to multiple virtual environments. However, this kind of setup is considered to be quite simple. Each of the environments we've set up is governed by a single version of Python. We can change the packages across the virtual environments, but the version of Python remains the same. It is possible to move to a more complex structure where we can have different versions of Python in our virtual environments. However, that's beyond the scope of this particular tutorial. If you would like me to cover these more complex structures in future videos, please let me know in the comments below. If you would like a summary of the main steps we've covered in this tutorial, please take a look at the description. Good luck with your Python projects.